All right, thank you for coming out, everybody. My name is Arthur Calloway. I am a newly appointed commissioner. I live in Lancaster, and this is the LA County Sheriff's Oversight Commission's listening session, specifically for the Antelope Valley and regarding the comment process, which contains commendations and complaints. The purpose of tonight's town hall is to gather feedback from the community on the Sheriff's Department's comment process. This will help the commission understand the community's perspective, experience, and compile your feedback to bring back to the commission's complaint ad hoc committee, which I lead. We will then host a virtual mini conference with the Sheriff's Department on the LASD's comment process, where subject matter experts from the department and other agencies will share an overview of the different avenues available to the community members to make complaints. We will then analyze all that information gathered from the community and LASD, discuss ways to improve the process, develop potential important recommendations for the full commission's consideration. The full commission will consider and vote on whether or not to accept the committee's recommendations. We would like to acknowledge the following members of the Sheriff's Department in attendance: Commander Mark A. Reyes, Lancaster Station Captain Paul Bartlett, Palmdale Station Captains Joshua A. Barton and Richard J. Cartmill. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the team from the Office of Constitutional Policing. We also would like to acknowledge our county partners from the Department of Youth Development, Department of Mental Health, and the Office of Violence Prevention. Please, after we do the public comment, go and meet those vendors at the side of the wall there at the table. Please raise your hand so that they all know to see where you're at. Yep. They are there for you, and those resources are available, and please make sure to go to their tables. Next slide, please. Commission staff will now go over the code of conduct.
Please see our code of conduct, which is in the corner to your left. We ask that you remain respectful and refrain from profane, personal, threatening, derogatory, and demeaning or abusive statements. Be respectful of the views expressed by the audience, staff, and panelists, and do not disrupt the orderly conduct of this event. A person engaging in conduct that disrupts the meeting is subject to being muted or removed, or we may have to adjourn the event. If you wish to speak in person at today's meeting, please submit a public comment card at the table with the public comment sign in front of me. I will now turn the commission meeting over to my colleague, Robert Flores, who will conduct the code of conduct in Spanish.
Le damos la bienvenida a esta reunión a miembros de la comunidad que hablan español. Por favor, consulte nuestro código de conducta. Le pedimos que sea respetuoso y abstenga de hacer comentarios profanos, personales, degradantes o abusivas. Por favor, sea respetuoso de las opiniones de la audiencia, los oradores, el personal y no interrumpir. Una persona que tenga una conducta que interrumpa está sujeta a ser expulsada de la reunión. Si desea hacer comentarios públicos, por favor, completa una tarjeta en la mesa que dice comentarios públicos. Gracias.
So I want to also apologize because I have a little bit of ADD and the beeping is going to make me mess up sometimes. The wanding in the hall. So thank you, everybody. Before we get started, I would like to introduce our panelists from the commission and the community. Then I will provide you with a brief history and overview of the Civilian Oversight Commission. Lastly, we'll provide a brief overview on how and where to file a complaint before opening up the floor to public comment from the audience to provide their feedback. We'll be listening and taking notes, so let's get started. I will not talk about myself that much. I would just like to say, because November 2003 is very prominent in this history, and that is when I crossed the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So that is me, Arthur Calloway. Next, we have Commission Co-Vice Chair, Dr. Luis S. Garcia. Dr. Garcia is a senior consultant at Advocates for Human Potential, a behavioral health consulting firm. He is also a licensed clinical social worker, providing private practice psychotherapy. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Or you want me to go through the whole thing? Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for attending today this morning. I just wanted to share that I wanted to highlight the purpose of this, the commission highlighted in chapter 3.79020 is to improve public transparency and accountability with respect to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department by providing robust opportunities for community engagement, ongoing analysis, and oversight of the department's policies, practices, procedures, and advice to the Board of Supervisors, the Sheriff's Department, and the public, which is you. As my bio was, being read, my role on this commission as one of the other fellow at-large commissioners is, based on off my lived experience and professional experience. I'm a high school graduate of 1995 Century Regional Detention Facility, which is part of one of the jails in the LA County jail system. So since that time and being in this professional role as a clinical social worker and the people that I engage with in the community, I grew up in the southeast area, city of Whittier area, and that's where all my engagement was with law enforcement and higher education. So, this forum is for you. It's for the residents of the Antelope Valley to voice your perspectives, whether it's a complaint, a commendation, whatever it is, I think it's vital for your voices to be heard. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of public comment because your comments and feedback are very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Next, we have Commission Executive Director Charmaine Mosley. Ms. Mosley was appointed as the Executive Director for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Civilian Oversight Commission in November 2023, a great month, after a national search. Ms. Mosley has more than 2 decades of experience managing and leading civilian oversight of law enforcement boards and commissions, as well as building relationship with community members in both the city of Albany and the city of San Diego. Ms. Mosley attended the State University of New York at Albany, where she earned an executive MBA and a Bachelor of Art in Psychology and Africana Studies. Is there anything else you would like to tell the community?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Calloway, and good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I wanted to thank Commissioner J.P. Harris. He's in the back somewhere. J.P., please raise your hand. Yeah. And I also wanted to thank our commission staff for coordinating this wonderful session that we're going to be having up here in Lancaster. I did take the drive. It took me a long time to get here, but I am so happy to be here. And then somebody said it was Dodgers opening, so I guess that's why with all the traffic. So with that said, again, my name is Charmaine Mosley, and I'm the Executive Director for the Sheriff's Civilian Oversight Commission. And while I am new to LA and learning about civilian oversight here in LA, I'm not new to civilian oversight of law enforcement. What I do is I look for ways that we can work together, ways that we could improve, systemic issues within law enforcement. And as Commissioner Calloway mentioned, I've been doing this for over 2 decades. Starting with Albany, New York, and then out in San Diego, and now here in LA. Accountability and transparency are the foundation of building and maintaining strong relationships between law enforcement and the community they serve. So please know that as we are gathering feedback from all of you tonight, the commission has also proposed revisions to their ordinance that is coming down the pipeline right now and hopefully will make its way to the Board of Supervisors to strengthen our oversight that we have over LASD. And then also, I wanted to also acknowledge community members who are also attending our monthly commission meetings. And please raise your hands. Yes, thank you so much for coming out, community members. We see them every month, so I understand like the drive and everything else. So I appreciate it. Now that I'm experiencing it also. So again, thank you.
Next, we have Allende Love, a dedicated activist and community organizer from the Antelope Valley. Allende is the founder of Gifted Arts and Activism, a nonprofit that merges art with social justice to empower Black communities. With over a decade of experience in organizing, advocacy, and community development, Allende is dedicated to police reform, legal education, and economic empowerment. Allende, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah. Hey guys, I just wanted to make sure that we encourage, especially the public comment. I just want to double down on some of the things that they were saying here and just make sure that you guys know the only insight that we have is the insight that you guys share. So please be sure to make sure that your voices are heard, take advantage of the fact that the people are here today and that there's things that need to be taken back. There's things that need to be accounted for. There's things that need to be worked on. So please make sure that your voice is heard while we have the opportunity to do it when we're in here. And thank y'all so much for showing up.
All right, so next slide, commission in action photos. For those of you that is unfamiliar with the Sheriff Civilian Oversight Commission, on November 1st, 2016, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors appointed 9 commissioners to serve on the commission and approved the hiring of an executive director and staff. 5 commission members are nominated from each supervisory district, and 4 additional members are at-large community nominees. All commissioners are appointed by the Board of Supervisors. Next slide, commissioners' headshots. Also, is the actual live stream on and working? Okay, all right. We have a bunch of commissioners from a very diverse, from all diverse backgrounds, including community and faith leaders, a retired sheriff's department lieutenant, a formal federal judge, and attorneys with a broad range of experience. They are Commission Chair Robert C. Bonner, Co-Vice Chair Dr. Luis S. Garcia, Co-Vice Chair Hans Johnson, myself, Irma Cooper, Patty Giggins, James Harris, JP, who's actually out in the crowd, he already waved, and Jamon Hicks. Currently, we have a vacancy on the commission, so please let the staff know if you are interested in applying or if you have any questions about it. Since November of 2023, the commission has been under the leadership of Executive Director Charmaine Mosley, who is a panelist also today. The purpose of the commission is to provide an oversight of the Sheriff's Department and its policies, practices, and procedures to improve public transparency and accountability with the respect to the Sheriff's Department by providing robust opportunities for community engagement, to investigate and provide ongoing analysis and oversight of the Sheriff's Department's policies, practices, and procedures, and make recommendations on changes, improvements, and reforms to the Board of Supervisors, the Sheriff, and the public. Striving to perform our duties in a thorough, impartial, and transparent manner, the commission demonstrates credibility and enhances trust and respect. We welcome and encourage community involvement and provide for opportunities for robust public engagement. That's where it was. Next slide, strategic plan. In December of 2023, the commission adopted its first strategic plan outlining 4 key goals. First, the plan focuses on advocating for policy updates that promote fair and unbiased policing while ensuring the safety of all individuals. Second is aims to strengthen county ordinance chapter 3.79, which I think all of us spoke to, that determines how the actual commission interfaces with the community and the Sheriff Department. Third, it seeks to foster stronger relationships with the community members through effective engagement events like these, participating in public meetings, and actively gathering community feedback. Fourth, it focuses on sustainability and streamlining all the internal processes. With that, let's begin with the history. So, I don't know if everybody knows, but in 2015, we had a Department of Justice that did a settlement agreement, a consent decree that actually informs the sheriff department on some things that were found to be needed to have work on. And then in 2016, the Board of Supervisors created the Sheriff Civilian Oversight Commission and created the Sheriff Civilian Oversight Commission. In March of 2020, voters passed Measure R, which gave the commission independent subpoena power and the ability to use staff to conduct investigations. In September 2024, the commission adopted proposed revisions to Chapter 3.79 of the County Code, which is the commission's governing ordinance. We are trying to strengthen that ordinance in order to give more robust authority to investigate complaints, access confidential LASD information, including investigations, complaints, body-worn camera footage. The commission firmly believes that the adoption of these proposed revisions by the Board of Supervisors is essential for ensuring effective civilian oversight of the LA County Sheriff's Department. Next slide. Okay, so as we're talking about, this is the process to make a comment. A comment can be a complaint or it can be a commendation. A complaint is more of a negative and accommodation is a positive. So we're gonna shift to providing a brief overview on filing a commendation and then delve into what a complaint is, where to file a complaint, and who can file a complaint. LASD considers a complaint to be any expression of dissatisfaction or concern regarding the conduct, actions, or behaviors of its employees in their service to the community. This include issues such as misconduct, unprofessional behavior, and any other matter that affects public trust and confidence in the department. Anyone can file a complaint with the LASD. This includes community members and even LASD employees who wish to report misconduct or other concerns. You do not have to be directly involved in an incident in order to file that complaint. Next slide. First, you can file a complaint directly with LASD online. File a complaint directly with LASD, which means walking into a station. You can file a complaint online. You can file a complaint by phone or by mail. All of this information can be found on the LASD's website under the Contact Us tab. Next slide. Second, you can file a complaint with the Office of OIG, either online or by mail. And ultimately, the complaint is forwarded to the Sheriff's Department. This information can be found on the OIG's website. Next, you can file a complaint with the commission, which is then forwarded to OIG, which is then forwarded to the Sheriff Department. So if you file a complaint with the commission online or at the commission meeting, the monthly commission meetings that happen every third Thursday, then we forward that information to OIG, and OIG forwards the information to the Sheriff Department so it can be investigated. Next, we can actually, anyone in the community can also file a complaint with the State of California's Commission on Peace Officer Standings and Training, known as POST. POST is a California state agency that sets the minimum standards for selecting and training peace officers. In 2021, the California State Legislature passed Senate Bill 2 that gave POST the power to investigate complaints. POST aims to enhance the professionalism of California law enforcement by setting standards and providing training, resources, and support for officers and dispatchers. If members of the public file a complaint with POST, please be aware that there is a backlog. Lastly, you can file a complaint with the California Department of Justice, who can review citizen complaints against law enforcement agencies or its employees for possible investigation. When substantive allegations of unlawful conduct are made and all appropriate local resources for redress have been exhausted per the California DOJ, you should first direct your complaint to LASD. If your complaint have not been resolved by LASD, you should next contact the LA County District Attorney. If neither agency does not act on your complaint within a reasonable period of time, you may file a complaint with the California Department of Justice. Post complaints are for serious misconduct. Next slide, please. Post can only conduct investigations and allegations of serious misconduct that could lead to the decertification of a peace officer in California. Serious misconduct is defined as dishonesty, abuse of power, physical abuse, sexual assault, demonstrating bias, acts that violate the law, participation in law enforcement gang, failure to cooperate, and failure to intercede. I would also like to mention that you can file a general complaint with the FBI. This can be done at their local office, online, or in person. There is also another organization out in the AV that you can file a complaint with that is not on the slideshow, and that is NAACP. You can go and file a civil, if you feel like you've been discriminated against in any way, you can file a complaint with them. It's called legal redress. If you want information about that, there are multiple people that have NAACP in their background. Next slide, how to file accommodation. Now we would like to touch on the accommodation process. The LA County Sheriff's Department considers accommodation to be a formal recognition given to an employee or unit for outstanding or exceptional execution of their duty assignment. Commendations can be awarded for bravery, meritorious conduct, life-saving actions, and other exemplary behaviors that go above and beyond the normal call of duty. Anyone can file accommodation, including members of the public, community members. Accommodations can be made in person, by phone, or online. So now that you've heard on how to file a complaint and accommodation, we'd like to open the floor for public comments regarding your experiences filing complaints with the LASD. We created a brief anonymous survey and would like to hear your feedback on the listening session, the commission, and the Sheriff's Department. Your feedback may help us determine future issues to focus on at future listening sessions and commission meetings. At the end of tonight's town hall, please scan the QR code at the check-in table on your way out to complete the survey. Next, we will go over public comment rules and procedures. Next slide, and Tracy, you can take it away.
Thank you. Those attending virtually will have the opportunity to speak via WebEx by raising your hand in WebEx or pressing *3 on your phone. Please note that we may have to adjust the time allotted depending on the number of individuals who have public comment or who will be making public comment. I will now turn to Commission Staff Member Robert Flores, who will make the public comment announcement in Spanish.
Ahora nos gustaría dar espacio para comentarios públicos. Los comentarios públicos deben estar relacionados con el tema de la sesión. Si no ha completado una tarjeta de comentarios, hágalo ahora. Simplemente diga la palabra español antes de comenzar y le diremos cómo proceder. Le daremos 2 minutos para comentarios públicos. Si desea hablar por WebEx, levanta la mano en WebEx o presione *3 en su teléfono. No tenemos un intérprete, pero todavía puedes hablar y sus comentarios serán traducidos al inglés después de la reunión. Si quieres un intérprete en el futuro, puedes enviar una solicitud por teléfono o correo electrónico 48 horas antes de nuestras reuniones. Gracias.
Next slide, please. Thank you. Public comment must relate to this listening session's subject. If you have not completed a public comment card, please do so now and turn it in at the table that says public comment. Please keep your comments under 2 minutes. Each person who signs up for public comment will have 2 minutes to speak. Our first public comment will come from Raquel Derfler. And if we could have John Cowie stand in line next.
Before the first public comment, I would like to also acknowledge that the DOJ Margaret Chin is in the room and the monitoring team, someone from the monitoring team, Dan Cohen, sorry if I mispronounced it, are here today.
Hi, yes, Raquel with Cancel the Contract, AV. Kind of a riff here, just because the experience I've had with the complaint process is it's just not a great process. We are asking the sheriff's department to investigate themselves. I've never filed a complaint where it's come back to be out of policy. I've known people that have filed things that should be out of policy, comes back, it's okay. I actually don't blame like the rank and file. It's really leadership who, when they see this complaint, find it to be within policy. This includes couple of monitoring reports ago, there was a man that was handcuffed already in the back seat, was pepper sprayed 4 times, and that was found to be within policy, not from the watch commanders, but like mid-level and up. So I don't really know what's to be done about it other than to have an independent agency come and investigate these things, because once again, rank and file do what they can do because they know they are not going to get in trouble for any of their behavior. So yeah.
Thank you, John Cowie. And then if we can have Gina Youngblood stand in line, please.
Yes, ma'am. John Cowie, Lancaster resident, moved here with my family in 1988. First of all, I want to thank the commission for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak and raise my concerns. I also want to thank the Lancaster Sheriff's Department. I applaud the hard work and dedication, and I take every opportunity to thank your officers whenever I get to see them. With that being said, I'm here primarily, I was hoping to get 3 minutes, so I'll make this as quick as I can. I'm here to voice our community's concern regarding the priorities and response of the Lancaster Sheriff's Department to our reports of illegal activities. These activities endanger the safety of our residents, especially our small school-age children. Specifically, I live on the east side, and the area around Challenger Way and Avenue K, there's a lot of drug use, public drinking, intoxication, people selling drugs outside of the liquor store and the on-the-go market. This is seen, it's very evident. It's been called to the Sheriff's Department's attention many times. It was reported by the principals of the local schools. What makes the situation worse is there's 3 elementary schools, 2, or I should say 1 elementary school, Jack Northrop. Then there's New Vista, which is a junior high. And there's the academy, which is also a junior high. And all of those are right across the street from where this is happening. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children have to walk past this every day. It starts at about 8 o'clock in the morning. They're out there right now. I drove them by 2 or 3 times. I've asked the Lancaster Sheriff's Department, and other community members have made the same request to do something about this, to
Thank
go
you.
by and make
Thank you.
chores, things like that.
Next public comment,
They
Gina
actually did come
Youngblood.
last
Your time
year,
is up, sir.
and it was short-lived. They made a difference.
Your time is up, sir.
For
Thank
a period
you.
of a few days. But it
Gina
continues.
Youngblood.
I also gave a copy of my
Sir,
comments.
thank you.
Hi,
And if we can have, I'm sorry, Gina, if we can have Dr. Coronado step in line, please. Go ahead, Gina. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Gina Youngblood. I'm the sister of Eugene Youngblood. He was taken in June 5th, 2024, and he was later found unresponsive in his jail cell. I done made complaints up to the highest standard. We have no paperwork. We don't have the initial arrest paper. We have no knowledge of anything that happened that day from the Lancaster Sheriff Station. In writing, verbally, nothing. We talked to the watch commander. We talked to everybody that we could, and there's still no answers. We made the complaint on September 20th, and we made it with the state of California. One was rejected so far, and we still haven't had no answers or nothing from the sheriff department. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment, Dr. Coronado. And if we can have Ms. Wynette Colors stand in line, please.
Dr. Garcia, it's a pleasure to see you, sir. Thank you for sending me the flyer. Art, Mr. Love, pleasure. Worked with you both. Youngblood situation, we helped represent the Youngwood family about a year ago. It was an unfortunate situation. I made some comments regarding the Sheriff's Department and the way that case was handled. We did hook up the family with an attorney, and for some reason or another, there was no communication or very little communication between the family and the attorney. We made several attempts to continue to support the family, and at this point, we're not sure exactly what's going on. We're no longer part of this particular case, but if the family ever needs our support, we're very much happy to be there. Aside from that, we're not going to have a sheriff's department who has had a lot of issues transform overnight, but there's no doubt that the sheriff's department has made significant difference in the last few years, especially since Sheriff Luna has been our sheriff. Not everybody's going to be happy with our sheriff. Not everybody's going to be happy with our captains, but I am a known activist and public advocate. And I have to say that the work that Captain Bartlett and Captain Barden, along with the other two administrative captains, have done a magnificent job. And we have to call them when they do well, and we also call them out when they don't do so well. But they have been making enormous amount of effort. The deputies work extremely hard. And it's been disheartening lately to hear that there are deputy gangs roaming in Palmdale and also in Lancaster. That is a concern of ours. I've already reached to the captains to sit down and talk about this to see how we're going to remedy this. I also reached out to the sheriff to ask him how we're going to sit down together and remedy this. But there's no doubt that our captains here in Lancaster and Palmdale are doing a wonderful job, and we're not always going to please everybody. But I do want to commend them for the African American history event that they just had, and very proud of it.
Thank you, Wynette Colors. And okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to thank the commission for coming up. The Antelope Valley seems to be underserved in regards to oversight of law enforcement. My name is Wynette Colors. I'm one of the founders of Cancel the Contract. And I was the only woman that was a part of the settlement agreement when it started. And I'm trying to figure out why hasn't that been complied with the sheriff as of yet. I think we're going on almost 10 years and they haven't complied. And the complaint process really is a joke. Lots of people have filed complaints. We've filed complaints. We've asked for documents. We've asked for records. None of those things have been supplied to us to be able to help advocate for families in our community. And we want to talk about excessive abuse. I just met with the captain and talked about excessive abuse. How much is it? How much is enough? We had one officer that has killed 2 African-American family members, families of the community within 10 seconds of entering their homes. And this person was promoted after killing 2 members of our community. And we've seen other officers celebrating him with GoFundMes that he's such a great person. That's not a great person, killing innocent people here, killing mothers whose children were seeing them be killed when they called sheriff for help. You know, we hear that they're overworked, they're undertrained, then they shouldn't take this job. We need people here that is going to advocate on our behalf, not kill our family members and not follow the rules. Everyone thinks Cancel the Contract hates police. We don't hate police. We advocate for unconstitutional policing. We have a problem with police that don't follow rules and regulations. We want our family
Thank
members
you.
home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go online. We're going to unmute Ernest Moore. Ernest Moore, you have been unmuted.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Looks like I'm the only one online.
Others out there with you. We are ready to hear from you.
I am very interested in actually serving on the commission. If I heard correctly, you said you had a vacancy there. I am very interested in applying. I have worked for LA County before in Department of Children and Family Services doing child protective services, et cetera, et cetera. I got a master's degree and I'm finishing another degree now and a law degree. But my comment is about your complaint process. You have some problems with that. In fact, I've been coming to this commission since the very first meeting. I've also been going to the LA County Board of Supervisors about the sheriff's department. Most recently, I had an incident where in court, this was in the probate court last year at the end of the trial, I wanted to make a citizen's arrest of one of the attorneys in my case and fiduciary, court-appointed trustee. And the judge ran out and got about 5 or 6 sheriffs and would not accept my citizen's arrest. And then I asked them to take a police report, and they refused to even take a police report. In fact, one of them told me to go to LAPD. I filed a complaint about that to the sheriff's department and also to your what is that? Inspector General. None of them have even responded to that. Now, since then, I filed reports with LAPD, and LAPD most recently has filed criminal charges against this trustee.
Thank you. Now we'll go to Adrian Duncan online. You have been unmuted. It looks like Irene Duncan. Irene Duncan, you've been unmuted online. Okay, there's no response. Oh, okay, here we go. Irene Duncan. Irene Duncan. Yes, you can now make your public comment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
I'd like to make a public comment on behalf of Francisco Nunez family and the Youngblood family. I'd like you guys to hear this. Commissioners, thank you for being in Lancaster. I know it's important for the families who are seeking justice, who have lost loved ones due to the hands of the Lancaster Sheriff's Department. The pattern here is the complaints are being filed. People are losing their lives. And again, complaints are being filed, but no repercussions, no kind of communication, no kind of transparency, no kind of accountability is being held for these loved ones, for these families, yet it continues to happen. I just want to say, please listen to the families, please listen to everybody talking about these parents of these complaints and this abuse of this brutality, because it's important. It's happening all across the United States. Specifically, we can only speak for California. And Lancaster families need help. And commissioners, we hope that you guys hear us loud and clear and help us get justice for the Youngbloods, for the Nunez family, and stop the harassment, stop the hiding, stop the lies, because it's important that, you know, if you want respect, help change the world, because this is ridiculous. How many more people have to die? How many more lies? How many more things have to be, you know, brought to your guys' attention before change happens?
Thank you. We're now going to go back to the audience. We have Cindy Nunez. Please take the podium. Next, if we can have Miss Virginia McCowan join the line.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Good evening, commissioners. My LASD complaint numbers are 263-051, 263-052, 260-6983. My initial LASD deputies harassment began on March 14, 2024, the day we were given the death notification for my brother who was murdered. That's 378 days of dealing with harassment, intimidation, retaliation, personal retaliation, photos being taken of me and my children. I've been followed, deputies walking in front of my home, my driveway's been blocked off, surveillance daily, and I have no answers as to why. The very same day we received the notification, the death notification, mind you, the death notification was given at my parents' home, not my home. We were approached by patrol. The first deputy rolled down his window and shouted out, "F you." Second patrol shortly after asked us if we were going to keep a G and if we were going to retaliate. Caught off guard, as you can assure with the devastating news we had just received, I didn't understand why this was happening. As a county employee myself, I'm very familiar with policy and procedure and how to follow it at all given times. I respect policy, and integrity is one of them, as expected from all of us, not just some of us. I followed all steps, chains of command within the department to ensure no delay. I'm asking leadership teams to truly investigate these employees. Since March 19, 2024, I've had several conversations and meetings regarding my complaints with Captain Bartlett himself, who's here in the audience, his sergeants, his lieutenants, Office of Constitutional Policing, Detective from Homicide, and Daryl Williams from the OIG. This complaint process is failing me instead of helping me. Instead of helping people like me who have the courage to come out here and speak about the unlawful misconduct, harassment, and retaliation I'm clearly dealing with daily. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Virginia McCowan, and if we could have Lou Walker stand in line next, please.
Good evening. My name is Virginia McGowan. I have a special needs child that was arrested. They came to the door. They pulled off the cameras. Off the door, we had the alarm camera. They hid their badge cameras. They beat my child up. She's special needs. They beat her. She had to have eye surgery at UCLA. She had to have dental surgery, UCLA. I'm calling everybody. She's had 3 cases dismissed. They got $15,000 worth of merchandise. I've been calling. I left all the information. Pharrell, all of them over there. Benjamin Tanner started the whole thing. My child is afraid of the police. They came around the block the other day. I live off of Challenger and K. I just moved over there. Police just made a U-turn. My child ran in the house and she had a heart attack. She's 26. She's doing well. She's disabled. I adopted her at birth. And she's scared of the police. She's scared of all of them. They came to, she goes to CSUN. She's in a disability department. She's doing fine at school. ICE came up there. Northridge police had to run them off. She started getting a heart attack. This is not fair. They come there and they have to put 1 foot out. I learned the hard way. I'm 72. I've never been arrested for anything in my life. She put the 1 foot out. She's about 5'8", 300 pounds. They pulled her on the ground. They hit the cameras like that. They pulled my cameras out. Then they came back. We moved. They came back to the other house. They did a warrant with no number on it. And nobody seems to, I've been all the way to the FBI. I went canceled a contract. I've been to NAACP. I've been everything you named. I've been to this meeting online, the Oversight Commission. I've been to this meeting. Nobody seems to care. Nobody beat the heck out of people and people didn't do nothing. My child especially, he says, "Can I see her? Want to talk?" She put 1 foot out and they did a bad thing. It's got to get better.
Thank you. Lou Walker, and if we could have Judd Henderson join the line.
Hello, everyone. I really do want to face the audience. I'm Lou Walker with the National Action Network, Antelope Valley. I was the former president of the NAACP, so I am familiar with how complaints were completely ignored for years. I am also the director of research and development for the National African American Civil Rights Organization, making its debut pretty soon in a couple of months. I did want to offer some solutions since a lot of the solutions that the county gives are in-house. Often agencies are investigating themselves, and it is wired that way to not have any success or measurable impact. I'm also investigating cases in San Diego County now, and they run parallel with the issues in Los Angeles County, with complaints not going anywhere. There's no accountability. People are going to their board supervisors, and there's not even any documentation of their complaints being received. So one thing I do want to give you guys words of encouragement. If a system fails you, go higher. File at the state level, file at federal levels. But it's very important, more so now than ever before, that you have unity, congruity with other organizations, with your D9 groups. I would love to see them more active, other than token press conference events and galas. We need to be active and responsible. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Judd Henderson. We next have Wendy Williams. Is that Henderson?
Hello, my name is Janelle Henderson, and I am the sister of Eugene Youngblood, who died June 5th in the Lancaster Sheriff Station. Right now, the family is asking for them to release videotape footage of what occurred. We've been contacted by 2 different lawyers representing the sheriff station and told that because other people were in the cell, we cannot have the tapes. It will be in violation of their rights. And I'm just livid, because what about my brother's right? Why doesn't he have the right to full transparency? I'm being told that I have to be patient and wait. How long, and what is going to be the statute of limitation for some things that occurred? It's going to be coming up on a year pretty soon. And we've been waiting and waiting and asking and having the door slammed in our face. You know, all we want is justice for our brother. We're not running around trying to put a smear campaign on the sheriff's department, but everybody who has a job with this type of authority knows once a person is in your custody, you are supposed to do everything you have to if they get in any medical emergency. And we have been told by several witnesses that this did not occur. My brother asked for help. He was laughed at, told to be quiet.
Thank you. Next, Lindy Williams.
Good evening. Thank you. I just want to say that the sheriffs, because the captains come in and roughly it's about 4 to 6 years, they're here and then they're out. That's got to change. I mean, you can't make anybody stay, but I'm thinking where the problem is you have deputies that are doing things knowing that they can write it out, and there's going to be a new captain, there's going to be new oversight as far as at the station, and then it's over and they can do pretty much whatever. So I'm hoping that people can work on something along those lines to make some type of accountability, whether it's the training deputy now passes you and then you screw up, well, then it hits the training deputy. If the lieutenant says, well, go ahead and pass them anyway, then they screw up, it hits the lieutenant, and so on and so forth. Because if not, in 4 years, the captain's gone, somebody's retired, so on and so forth. But I'd also like to say we got to be honest about stuff. Settlement agreement was a gentleman's handshake. There was no teeth. There was no end date. It was hoped to be done in 4 years. Because it was hoped to be done in 4 years, expecting it to be done before 4 years, so we got to do better. So when we pick and choose our fights, we have to, like how these guys have civilian oversight, there has to be, or excuse me, subpoena power. There's got to be more than just a gentleman's handshake, because the system's going to change, somebody's going to retire, and it's going to continue year after year after year. Thank you.
Thank you. If you'd like to make additional comments, if you felt that the time that was provided didn't give you sufficient time to say what you feel that you really needed to say, please submit an additional comment card. We would like to hear your additional comments, and you have the opportunity to have 2 additional minutes. So please feel free to submit an additional card at this time. If you are online, please feel free to raise your hand in WebEx or press *3 on your phone so that we can have additional comments from you as well. Again, now is the time. If you feel that you had additional comments that went beyond the original 2 minutes that were provided, we would like to hear from you. Lindy Williams is going to step back in line now. Lindy.
So as I mentioned, thank you. As I mentioned, as far as the accountability or lack thereof, wow, really brain fart. Really? No, pause, time. I lost it. I lost it. Can I come back? I lost it.
We'll put you back in queue, Lindy. Okay, we have some online comments. We're going to go to Ernest Moore. Ernest, you have been unmuted.
Yes. First of all, 2 minutes is not enough for me to present all the experiences or things that I've been involved with the Sheriff's Department. Second of all, I'd like to find out how would I apply for a seat as a commissioner. And I notice here there's no chat. Is there anybody there that I could talk with to get additional information? Or is there some kind of way that we can communicate? Going back to my complaint now, the other issue with the Sheriff's Department in the Stanley Moss Courthouse is that now I've filed complaints before that last incident with the sheriff deputies and trying to do a citizen's arrest. And I've gone to their office actually to complain. I'm in the probate department, which is totally corrupt over there. And they will not even take a police report. I filed many complaints about that. And when they do respond, in fact, I've had a response from a supervisor there. They say that sheriff deputies have no jurisdiction in the courts. Now, when I came to the very first commission meeting, the sheriff was there, and I think it's the sheriff that is the current police chief of LAPD now. I don't know why they brought him back. And I told him what was going on there with the sheriff deputies. And he said to me, sheriff deputies do not have jurisdiction in the courts. And actually, I got one of the supervisors to send me that in writing. Now, you mentioned about complaining to the district attorney. I'd like to know what office to go to, and also what office, where would I go in the FBI to make complaints?
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Selena Coleman online. You have been unmuted. Alina Coleman, you have been unmuted.
Camera, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. With cameras or video footage and all of that coming up missing, and the officers going to the places where the cameras were, and us never having access. And then they say no one ever requested them. Well, not true, because we to civil court and the attorneys requested the footage. They never was ever found or came up. The body cameras were turned off and all of that. I just want to say to the families that are still going through this, and part of the that they put you on hold is so the statutes of limitation will pass. And you guys just got to file a lawsuit prior to the statutes of limitation expiring, and that'll give you guys more time. And so as we continue to try to move forward, get progress in what's going on, this is not a LA County thing. This is a United States thing. And with our current administration, things are only going to get. So I say collectively, we pray it and come together and do things a little differently, because especially in LA County, with us being larger than most states, we allow this to happen. We go the back and forth, like the unions say, oh, we can't do nothing, but unions are county employee members as well. And so other than the staff that rates by our union dues, they're all county. So as a county, got to do something better. And so thank you to everybody on the panel and on the commission trying to make things better. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we proceed to our in the audience comments, I would like to remind everyone, if you are interested in information about the commission as well as the vacant commission seat, additional information about that particular seat as well as applying will be available on our website soon. Our website is available at coc.lacounty, that's LACOUNTY.gov, G-O-V. Again, coc.lacounty.gov. Feel free to pay attention to that website, not only for the vacancy for that position, but all of our future events. Now we'll proceed with the next speaker, Lou Walker. Lou Walker, if you can join the line for your public comment, and then we'll have Lindy Williams.
Lou Walker, AV Nan and Acro again. I just wanted to add a lot of what I'm hearing, a lot of what I've been auditing and investigating for the past 15 years in the Antelope Valley are systemic challenges. So they do go beyond the sheriff's station. They tap into housing, they tap into education, and it's the same patterns. People are filing complaints. They're keeping records of it, hopefully, but the departments aren't. And it's happening at the state level as well. It is happening even within the state civil rights department. There was mention earlier about a backlog of complaints. I'd like to know, how is that being addressed? There's a backlog of civil rights complaints that go back years before people are even getting responses from the state. So if that's happening at state and federal levels, what chance do people have getting responses to their complaints at the county level? One thing that I've noticed is that particularly the Lancaster and Palmdale stations, they often deny receipts. There's a state regulation that outlines how receipts should be given. And that is just completely disregarded. Anytime you submit documentation, you get a receipt, you have it time-stamped or noted who received it, keep records, try to have less conversations because hearsay will not stand in court. If you can
Thank
show-
you. Thank you. Lindy Williams, and next we'll have Cindy Nunez join the line.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what I want to say is that policy. A lot of times, I'm not trying to make excuses, but once we realize how it works, things that we would think, we the public would think are not part of policy, are part of policy. And we have to educate ourselves on that. We shouldn't. I would hope that there'd be a place where the sheriffs would sit down and tell us, but we have to educate ourselves. As an example, to my understanding, being sprayed in the face with mace is what, like a level 1? That seems like no big deal. And some of the sheriff's deputies seem to think that that's no big deal. But that was done to somebody who lives in the community, and they're bothered. Well, they're bothered because their policy says that that's not a big deal. So who do we talk to, and how do we fix it so we can help with policy? I understand, because we're not law enforcement and we haven't done the job. I don't think I'd want somebody trying to tell me how to do my job either. However, if they want trust in the community, that policy has to be something that the public agrees with as well. Because at the end of the day, it keeps everybody safe. Unfortunately, with the administration, you see a lot of people 2 steps from losing it. If the sheriff's department, just in general, continues to do things that are in policy, but it negatively affects the community, how does that help? Doesn't. So who are the powers that be, real question, who can fix policy and have people input that?
Thank you. Cindy Nunez. And if we can have Ali Rubenfeld get in line next, please.
So I just wanted to follow up regarding my complaints. One example that the system failed me was I received a letter from Captain Soto from Gang Unit. I'm not sure how I was affiliated with Gang Unit from the very beginning. My brother was murdered. I've committed no crime, so I didn't understand that from the very beginning. But they are the ones that began harassing me as well. I received a letter October 21st, 2024. The letter wasn't mailed out until October 31st. In the letter, it stated it would give me 10 days to contact Lieutenant Silverstein in regards to my complaints. Clearly, that was an example of how they manipulated the system to fail me. So I didn't receive the letter till November 3rd, clearly 10 days after the time I was given, clearly. So at that time, they had decided on what the outcome was. Then I received another letter from Captain Bartlett after I had submitted to Lieutenant Dorian Diaz in conversations, the surveillance, the videos, taking pictures of my children, all that stuff that came with the harassment and retaliation. Even after that, I got a letter, not a phone call, not anything, never heard from the lieutenant himself again. It's been over a year, and Captain Bartlett sent me a letter stating that his deputies are acting reasonable. I don't know how that is labeled reasonable. I would love to learn more about that, but I've never experienced such harassment, retaliation, any of that since my brother was found in an alley. And it's just overwhelming. Again, just the trauma of what happened to my brother, Francisco Nunez, alone is a lot to deal with. And I'm still unsure of why I still on the daily have to deal with all this harassment, directly towards myself. And yeah, it's a lot. And that's why I asked the commission if you guys can look into that as well. I believe I also met with the Department of Justice, Ms. Chen, who's in the
Thank
audience
you.
too. So
Thank you. Allie Rubenfeld. And if we can have V. Jesse Smith join the line.
Hi, my name is Allie Rubenfeld. I'm a legal fellow. I work with the Loyola Law School and a group called Check the Sheriff, which is a coalition led by families who have been directly impacted by violence at the hands of the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department. A lot of folks in this room have identified the problems with the complaint system. It requires you to go to LASD. LASD has discretion as to whether they investigate it or not. I'm here with some students tonight who would like to provide you with an alternative. We're collecting independent data about LASD's policing in the Antelope Valley, as well as some other communities in Los Angeles, to keep that data separate from LASD. And we can also help you file complaints. So at least if there's someone tracking the progress and seeing what happens, we can track whether or not the follow through from LASD is proper. So I'm here with some students. We're right back there. Please come. We have some flyers and we can explain more about the project. Thank you.
Thank you, V. Jesse Smith. And if we can have Judith Jones join the line.
Yes, good evening. My name is V. Jesse Smith. I'm a pastor out here in the Palmdale community. Been out here in the Antelope Valley for more than 20 some odd years. And what I'm hearing today just saddens me. It breaks my heart that we're still here. We started this back in 2007, 2008, when we knew the sheriff's department were racially profiling Black folks out here, as well as Latinos. And we marched and we demonstrated and we went to the courthouse and we demanded action. The DOJ found out what we were doing and came out and entered into a consent decree that Lindy said was nothing but a shake hand. And unfortunately, we're still here at this same issue. We're still here dealing with these same challenges. My heart goes out to the people who have not yet received justice. And I'm tired. I'll be honest with you, I'm tired. I've been here before. Many of us in this community have been here before, and it's dealing with the sheriff's department. And because there's no real justice coming from the sheriff's department, we get new police departments that come up out of the blue. They're like Pop-Tarts, just come up because we need real law enforcement here. As an activist who have been out here for quite some time, I made one comment at a meeting with the sheriff's department, with the Sheriff Luna. And because I expressed my frustration and my hurt and my pain because of our people, I never got invited to another meeting because I'm deemed to be, quote, an activist or somebody who speaks too much. I'm not part of that committee. You cannot silence the voices of people who are speaking out here to the hurt of Black and Latino and white people out here. We're tired of it. And I would ask that this commission, if you're in place and you have authority and power to be able to do something, to not just take complaints and hear the people's pain, but begin to make changes in the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department so that we can really have action and reform. And I want to tell all of us, let's organize and make a difference. Thank you.
Judith Jones.
Good evening. There's not enough time for me to express all the, as V. Jesse Smith said, the hurt, the pain that the LA County Sheriff's Department has done to me and my family over the 30 years that we've lived out here. The level of disrespect and how they treat the Black and brown people in this community is just unreal. The stuff that me and my family have had to live with, the humiliation, the degrading, the lack of humanity that we have received from the LA County Sheriff's Department and continue to receive is unreal. They've impounded my vehicles when it was literally, they've pulled my son over for a rolling stop literally around the corner from my home where I could have walked and picked up my car. I'm a senior, I'm on a fixed income, they didn't care. The way they tear up and have torn up my vehicle, the seats, that we can't even get the seat belts out to ride according to the law. They threw my son's phone, the key to my car in the street, and his wallet with the ID, with my address and everything on it, that a Hispanic worker found it and had the common decency to contact me, that I had no idea what it was until I put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's how they treat us. They come and do probation sweeps and it almost looks like a murder scene. They've got so many cops and probation officers over there at my home to where I'm scared to even come home because I don't even know what's going on. And then they pull guns out to where my daughter, who is an innocent party in it, asked the officer, "Officer, why do you have a gun pointed at me?" He looked her back in her face and he said, "Because I can." This is the attitude that they have, the attitude that they've been having. And I'm shaking as I'm standing here because I'm so angry.
Thank
and I'm
you.
so tired of it. You don't even want to
Thank
finish hearing
you.
what I have to say.
Thank you. I turn it back over to the panel at this point. We have fielded the audience and online. We don't have any additional comments at this point. Back to the panel.
Okay, so I wanted to reiterate what I am new to the commission. I started in September. One of the things that I asked for was to be chair of the complaints process committee, ad hoc committee, and that is so that we can start trying to understand how to take complaints and track them so that we can see true resolution to those complaints. What we want to do is investigate how to create a more robust process for the COC to track complaints in a database type form to actually make sure that these things are being, the milestones that are placed in policy, that is in the chapter 4 of the MPP, that those milestones and time limits are being adhered to. And what we also would like to do is we are going to go line by line through that policy to review it and to provide recommendations that will hopefully make the complaints process a little more robust when it comes to actually being able to help create more trust in the community by getting the deputies who may actually have done something, the information to their superiors so that they can actually use it in a productive fashion. We also want to understand what the escalation process actually looks like with DOJ, monitoring team, FBI, all of those things for us to understand when is it appropriate to actually escalate it to an outside agency. So this is why it's so important and why we are doing more with the COC executive director and staff and the commissioners. We're trying to make sure that we are being more active in the community to collect this information and bringing it up here into the regions of LA County, because LA County is so huge that we are wanting to make sure that we incorporate everything and anything that you say into the planning process, because these things do not exist right now in the form that we want them. And now is the way to actually influence the thing that you want to see is by giving public comment here. There is an opportunity every month on the third Thursday for public comment. And what I want to make sure that you understand is even if you feel like it's doing nothing, even if you feel like it's going slow, that you cannot stop and that you should make sure to keep the consistency going forward. And then also asking if you feel like the commission doesn't have the resources they need, the tools they need, or if we are performing poorly, then the LA County Board of Supervisor meeting, go make a public comment there. That happens also. So if you start doing that, then the louder you are, the more happens, because that is the reason that the settlement agreement happened, is because people in the front lines actually complained. The reason that Measure R was passed to give subpoena power to the commission happened because people made noise. All of these things happened because noise was made. So please, please, please do not stop. We are here for you. We're here to advocate for a building a better community building a stronger relationship between the community and the sheriffs. It is a two-way street that we have to maintain. So from sheriff to community, community to sheriffs, and the only way we can do that is by hearing and understanding what those problems are, because everybody has blind spots. So I would like to go to the take the survey slide.
Commissioner Callaway?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to note one of your colleagues is online. You have Commissioner Irma Cooper that has been listening in to this event.
Shout out, raise the roof to Irma Cooper. So everyone, please take this survey. You can scan it up on the screen right now, or there is also the QR code at the table where you signed in. We ask you that you take the moment to complete the survey. The Civilian Oversight Commission values your feedback and will help us better understand your concerns. To ask for different types of town hall, different subjects, any of those things, resources that you're actually looking for. Like I said, we have the Department of Youth Development, we have the Office of Violence Prevention and Mental Health. Those are the type of things, if you need those resources, that we can bring to these type of town halls. So please let us know anything that you need so that we can try our best to give you those opportunities. Next slide, please. So the next events that we have Thursday, April 17th, will be at the Hall of Records, not our normal meeting place for the commission meeting. Our follow-up virtual mini conference on complaints will take place on April 24th at 5:30 p.m. If you actually look at the policy and are coming up with actual ideas that we can implement or that you think would be good to implement, that would be a meeting to actually come to bring those during public comment. Next slide, please. Thank you for coming out. I'd like to express my gratitude to the community for courageously shedding light on your experiences. We need you to continue to do that every month in any meeting. We will take your feedback to the Commission's Complaint Ad Hoc Committee, which I lead. This will help the Commission understand the community's perspective, experience, and incorporate your feedback to host a follow-up virtual mini conference on today's topics with the Sheriff's Department. I would like to thank our panelists, commission staff for helping collaborate and put this listening session on. And do you have any closing remarks, Dr. Lewis?
No, excuse me. I just encourage everyone also to take a look at the transparency page on the LA County Sheriff's Department website. There is a useful dashboard where it tracks complaints, and you can filter it through like 2 years back, and then it'll give different parts of the department's operations, and you can see complaints for this patrol region as well. So just encourage, it's a good data point to use in your advocacy. Thank you.
Executive Director.
I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out again today. As you all know, LA County has, actually, they have the Civil Brand Commission, which is responsible for looking at jail inspections or going out and doing inspections of the jails. We also have the Probation Oversight Commission, and that commission's over the probation department. And then we have the Office of the Inspector General. When complaints are filed, and this is something that I actually found out once I became executive director for the county. I thought the complaint process was actually different than what it is. And with that said, you know, as far as complaints being filed, it is a cycle. When people file complaints, it goes to the Office of the Inspector General. And then when they file it with us, with the Civilian Oversight Commission, we also send it to the Office of the Inspector General. All those complaints go to LASD. So I want to say that this commission has been working hard over the last several months to strengthen their oversight, which is what we mentioned before. And also look at the complaint process to make sure that the complaint process is fair and that complaints are looked at and investigated fairly and thoroughly as well. As Commissioner Callaway mentioned, we have a lot of things that's coming down the pipeline. Being able to track those complaints that come into our office, and then also include the statistics as to what is happening to those complaints in our annual report, just to make sure that we have a fair and a thorough process within the Sheriff Civilian Oversight Commission. And this is something that I've been doing for many, many years. As I mentioned, starting with Albany, New York, where we created that database and bringing it to the city of San Diego, who has independent oversight over SDPD. Just trying to make sure that we have something that will work for the community. I know I'm talking a lot, so I'll stop there. Thank you.
Before we go any further, we just have one announcement from the Sheriff's Department, Office of Constitutional Policing. We have Lieutenant Rivers in the back, if you can raise your hand. She has some information that she would like to hand out to the audience members from the department. So if you could please make sure you stop by, get some information, brochures, handouts from the department. Turn it back over to the panel.
All right, Allende, you have any last comments?
Yeah, the big important piece, you guys, that I think that it's important to highlight is as you guys are following your complaint processes and you're going through these different stages to make sure that you're doing self-documentation and that you are spreading what you're saying out so that we can actually see where the process goes wrong or where it fails you at. So what happens is, I know that this is a very complex process, but when we cannot, when it's not documented or when something goes wrong, it's hard to pinpoint on how to correct it. So we just need to make sure that things are in detail. And so going from this point forward, if you guys do check in with somebody, please document that. If you guys don't get a receipt back, please document that. Please make sure that you check back in on the COC website so that you can actually check and see some of the things that were listed here, because there is a step-by-step process, which is one thing that is extremely helpful if you have been impacted in any way by LASD or any other governing body and they haven't fulfilled the requirements or what you feel the requirements should have been. Please make sure that you go back and you check every detail that we have or that has been listed on this so that you know exactly how to check back in and that you can bring back to the commission when something does not fulfill its purpose. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for participating. Thank you for engaging. Let's continue promoting transparency, accountability, and a meaningful change. Please enjoy the rest of your night and get home safely. Thank you. Thank you, AV team, the real A team. Thank you. Y'all have a nice night.